Don't just say that after degree, I'll get a job and that's it. That should not be your future. I'm also quite apprehensive to talk about this. Maybe some of you may not like it. 6 certificates that might help you in the GKS application process, and then they list all the Coursera certificates. I don't think they're so helpful. Every particular person has them. Every year, thousands of smart students get rejected for the Global Korea Scholarship. Not because they're not capable, but because they do not exactly know what is Korea selecting for.
What?
So in this video, I'll be talking about 6 reasons that might land you rejected in this GKS Scholarship season, and you might need to rethink it. So watch the full video to know all the mistakes that you might be making. One thing which you must always keep in mind, not just pertaining to this scholarship in particular, but for everything and anything you're going to handle in your life and future, is that before trying to master something, before trying to ace something, you must understand and know that thing properly. For example, if you're trying to master GKS Scholarship, if you're trying to ace the GKS Scholarship applications, then you must understand the scholarship. You must understand the application. You must understand why GKS was started. Why is Korea even bothered in attracting and inviting foreign students from all over the world to come and study in their country? Why are they even interested to fund thousands and millions of dollars into our education? The main reason is, as you all know, the Korean economy is facing a shortage of labor because the Korean population is turning old. Korea is facing a low birth rate, low fertility rate. In the future, the Korean economy might die if they face a shortage of labor as today. So that's one of the main reasons why they are trying to attract foreigners and to invite you to study in their country for free, because they want to compensate for the shortage of labor. They are wanting you to study in Korea, assimilate to the culture, and stay back in Korea and compensate for the shortage of labor they're facing today. Now, that does not necessarily mean that they always want you to stay back in Korea after you complete your degree, but they are expecting it. They are expecting an asset out of their investment. So they're expecting you to compensate for the labor shortage. And we all know that after we have attained a degree in a country, after we have spent so many years studying and attaining a degree in a country, we try to look for internships, we try to look for jobs, at least for the short term in the same country. So I think they're trying to make up for that, make up for the labor shortage through the GKS Scholarship. Another important thing which you can take away from this is that they're trying to invite you to their country so that you learn about their culture. You try to assimilate to their culture, and once you like it, once you understand it and resonate with it, you can stay back in Korea and maybe get a job, maybe settle down, get married to some Korean national, settle down and contribute to the economy. So all they're looking for is a stable flow of labor. All they're looking for is an asset in you. All they're looking for is a global talent to invite to their country. So what they want and what kind of candidates they want for this scholarship totally depends on the objective with which the scholarship was started. So the objective and the whole point of this scholarship comes down to the fact that they want to compensate for the labor shortage. So they're looking for individuals that can contribute to the Korean economy in the future. While they're screening your document, they're trying to look in for every characteristic, every trait in you that a typical Korean employer would look into while recruiting an employee. So you're going through the same screening as you might go for while you're searching for a job in Korea. It's not exactly equivalent, but you can think of it in the same way. So while they're screening your application, they want to see whether this individual has the potential to survive in the competitive culture of the Korean society, whether this particular individual has the potential to adjust to the Korean society and to contribute up to the potential in the Korean society. While they're screening your application, you're being judged on the basis of all the skills that might be required or that might be scrutinized while you're being employed by a top company. I summarize everything. One key point to understand is that you need to show to the evaluators through your application that you are capable and you have the potential to compete in the Korean society and to contribute back to the Korean society as much as you can. So you need to show the evaluators that you are a talented asset. You are a human resource for them. So if I talk about the first reason why you might land rejected while applying for this scholarship, also somewhat relates to the whole understanding of GKS, which I talked about right now. So if in your application, the evaluators can somewhat sense that you are coming to Korea just because you are interested in the Korean culture, then that's a problem for you. So there's no problem in that. You might be interested in coming to Korea because you're interested in Korean culture, because you love K-pop, because you like K-drama. That's all right, but make sure that does not represent through your essays, through your application. Why this is important is that if the evaluators sense that you are coming to Korea just because you're interested in the Korean culture, then they might think that you may not be the right asset for the Korean economy in the future. I think that the investment in you, the whole investment of the GKS allowance and scholarship in you, might turn into a waste because an attraction towards K-pop and K-drama might not yield the same return in the investments which they are making. So that's the whole point. So do not try to include your love for the Korean culture, for K-pop or anything related to Korea. So an alternative which you can do is, instead of showing in the application that you love Korean culture, you love K-drama or all of those, what you have to show in the application, what you can show in the application is that you're curious about the Korean culture and that you are the best suitable candidate that can well adjust to the Korean society. Now there's a fine line between showing that you can well adjust to Korean culture and showing that you love and you're crazy about Korean culture, and you need to understand where that line is. You need to analyze that properly, and you may get questions in the interview asking you whether you can assimilate to the Korean culture, whether you can adjust to the difference in culture between India, Pakistan and South Korea. So you may be asked the same questions. So try to convince them that you can well adjust to the change in culture. Try to tell them an experience where you have already traveled a lot of countries and you are now experienced of adjusting to different cultures, and you are rather curious to know about the differences in the culture between Korea and India. Now if I talk about the second point which may land you rejected in the GK scholarship, is that maybe the evaluators think that your application lacks clarity. Now if I'm an evaluator, I'm evaluating your application, a most important part of your application would be your study plan, your personal statement, language plan and future plan. All of those essays are the most important part of your application. Now when I read your future plan, I see vague things written there. If I read your future plan and I read something like, and then I will get a good job in a top company like Samsung, etc., then that might sound vague because everyone thinks like that. Everyone is going to write that after my degree is completed, I will go and I will apply for Samsung, LG, etc. I'll get a job in a good position and a good package in the company, and I'll do my best to serve in that company. I think that is very vague because everyone thinks in the same way, but life does not work in the same way. Life is not as simple as just thinking like after completing a degree you might get this job. You might not. And even if you're planning to get that job, you need to prepare for that job as well. So just trying to be specific, just be more specific in the future plan, and that can really help you a lot. Instead of writing that I will, after completing my degree, I will apply for positions in Samsung, rather than writing this, you can talk about what preparations would you make that will help you while applying to Samsung. Rather than just listing top companies like Google, Samsung, etc., try to think of specific companies which are not very bad, which may interest you in the future. You can try to look for those companies even now. Just go on LinkedIn, try to look for a company that might suit your interest and list those companies also. I'm not saying that you should not list Google and Samsung, but those are the companies that everyone wants. Those are the companies that everyone is going to list, but not everyone is going to get that. And that shows that you're just being very generic. So along with Samsung and all those top-notch companies, also try to list specific companies that might suit your interest, and also talk about all the preparation that you would do before applying to these companies that will help you in the whole recruitment process and the whole job landing process after your degree. Try to talk very specifically about your future. Don't just say that after degree I'll get a job and that's it. That should not be your future. You should also include specific things in your future. Try to be very specific that after graduating in my first year I'll do this, in my second year I'll do this, in my third year I'll do this, and also try to include some things of social responsibility, maybe some things which may interest you. For example, maybe you're studying computer science engineering and you want to land as a data scientist in a particular company, and that's good, but just listing this might be very generic. So apart from listing your main plan about landing a job in some company, you can also talk about your side interests. Maybe you can think of it as a side hustle, or you can think of it as plan B. So you can talk about themes related to social responsibility here, for example. And then I would also like to start up my own foundation that helps cancer patients. For example, this. I'm not saying you to lie in the application. Maybe you might not be interested in doing anything as such, but I think that every individual has something in their mind. Every individual has a particular dream that they want to accomplish when they earn a lot of money. So for example, when I earn a lot of money, I really want to have a foundation for orphans. And I'm sure everyone would want that. So I think listing that can be great. That can show who you are, what are your values as a person. Now, don't lie, but try to list your real values. So try to make your main goal of getting a job, of the whole recruitment process and the preparation you're going to make before that, and as the main part of the future plan. And apart from that, also list the other dreams which you would like to accomplish when you earn a lot of money from your career, like starting a foundation, maybe starting a side business, maybe having your own startup in the future, or writing a book, or doing some research. Always include that. I think that helps you to stand out, and that also helps you to show who you are as a person and what your values are, apart from just generic, monotonous things. Another reason why you might get rejected, and I'm also quite apprehensive to talk about this, maybe some of you may not like it, but this is truth. Now, I'm not one of the evaluators, so I cannot tell you for sure, but this is something which I think, I'm sure, like I'm 94%, 95% sure about this. My strong advice is, and my strong analyzation is, that maybe the major you have listed or the major you're applying for is something which the evaluators think may not be of much value in the future. So if you go through the GKS applications, you would understand that there is a particular area, there's a particular part of the whole guideline which states that STEM majors are preferred. So it's not that other majors are automatically rejected, but it just says that STEM majors are preferred, or STEM majors attain more points in the evaluation scores. Why is this so? Again, it relates to the whole understanding of GKS. Because they want to compensate for the labor shortage, they want talent, they want global talent, they want a cohort of global talent which functions in the society and contribute to the society. So according to them, they feel that since STEM major is in high demand in the work sector, they have more potential of contributing to the Korean society in the future. So they feel safer in investing in STEM majors. Apart from that, other majors are also good, but they would always prefer STEM major. But that does not mean you're going to be rejected if your major is not STEM major. Like for example, I am studying business administration at SNU, at Seoul National University, and I was not rejected. I was selected by the embassy. I was also selected by NIT. So it's not always that you'll be rejected. If your profile is very strong, you might still be selected, but STEM major is preferred. Another quite sad thing to say is that if you are a fine arts major, then chances are very low for you to be selected. Why? Because fine arts, according to them, have low return on investment. Fine arts major is something which they're not looking for. It's just simply something which this GKS scholarship might not be looking for. So fine arts, if you want to study design, photography, or anything related to fine arts, things may be slightly more difficult for you and more complicated for you. Also, if you are trying to apply for a fine arts major, my serious recommendation, please do not apply to the embassy track, because as of all, the embassy track have fewer seats as compared to university track, and the embassy track also tries to look for individuals and ask questions to individuals which are more related to how to strengthen the ties between India and Korea. How can this individual contribute more towards strengthening the ties between India and Korea? And the embassy would always look for a STEM major for that. Maybe if you're a business major, that's also good. But fine arts lands a very small chance because you have to compete through a whole cohort of people, and most of them are going to apply for STEM major. So even if you have an excellent profile related to fine arts major, things are going to be a lot more difficult for you. Whole application may be viewed as a very generic application and you just cannot spot it. Now, one very important thing which I want you to keep in mind is that just getting certificates from Coursera is not very helpful. Now, I'm not saying that getting certificates from Coursera or Udemy or any other online academic sites is worthless. I'm not saying they're worthless, but do you not think that everyone has them? Just ask this to yourself. Do you not think that everyone is going to have a certificate from Coursera related to Korean language or anything to Korean culture? Anyone can go and have a certificate from Udemy, from Coursera, and it's not very difficult to complete the course. So I think getting them is not bad, but that should not be your only differentiating factor. That should not be your only extracurricular which you're attaching in your application. Now, I've heard many GKS scholars, I've heard many people on YouTube come and talk about these certificates. I've heard so many creators come and tell you that 6 certificates that might help you in the GKS application process, and then they list all the Coursera certificates. I don't think they're so helpful, and I think all of these videos, I would not say that they're misleading, but I think they are not providing you with the right advice. And I'm not saying they're wrong, but I'm saying that I think they have not actually understood things well themselves too. Coursera, Udemy, and other online course certificates are not worthless, but they are not going to be very useful as you think. Everyone has them. Every particular person has them. You can ask your friends who are applying for GKS Scholarship, they're also going to have it. So try to look for other extracurriculars also that might differentiate you from a whole bunch of people who are applying. And please, choose the creators you're listening to. There are so many creators talking about wrong things related to GKS. They're giving you wrong information related to the whole scholarship process, and they're giving you some tips which are not even going to be useful. You might be listening to a lot of creators telling you to get some certificates from Coursera, from Udemy and everything. You can do that, but you must also look at the opportunity cost. If you have something better, if you have something more, if you can look for something which can make you more differentiated from others, which can make your profile stand out from others, then I would rather like you to spend your time in doing that activity than getting a certificate from this course. Other advice is also related to the previous one, that the essays should also have a differentiating factor. The essays must be crafted in a way that makes you stand out. The essays must show who you are as a person. Should not only be limited to talking about your achievements and all the technical things like, okay, you achieved this and that and this and that. It should also show the values you hold as a person. It should also talk about the things which changed you as a person. But try to show it rather than talking about it, rather than talking that I'm a person with dedication, hard work, and etc. To writing this, try to show it. As I've already talked about this in my previous video, try to show it through your essay. Try to tell a whole story which shows what kind of values you hold. So always write your application to a storyline. The story should be unique to you. The application essay must stand out. And the essay is the greatest asset you have in the application, and that's because you can use it any way you want. So be creative. You have to be creative to stand out. Be as creative as you can in the essay. Do not fear of writing anything. As Indians, we are often taught to write very formally. As Indians, we are taught, like, I went to convent school, so I always liked writing in different styles. Always used writing things more creatively, more deeply. But my teachers always used to focus on writing more formally. They always changed my essays, and they wanted me to talk in a more formal tone, because that's a convent school, so they always wanted me to talk like with words like dedication, hard work, perseverance, respect, and things like that. So I was kind of scared while writing my essays, because I felt like my teachers might again change it because they want a more formal essay. So don't be scared. The application is not like that. The application is where you have to stand out. The application is where you have to be creative. Take your chance and do not be scared in experimenting with whatever you are writing. All that matters is you standing out, you being creative, and you leaving an impact on the evaluator, so that when they have read thousands of applications, after that they still remember your story. The last reason that may cause a problem in your application process and that may land you rejected is messing up the interview round. Now, this is a very generic advice you might be thinking, but the technicality here is that you might be thinking that whether you're selected for the first round of selection or not depends on the cumulative scores of document screening round and the interview round together, but things do not always work like that. So once your document screening round is cleared and you're selected, you're called for an interview. Now when you're giving an interview, they're not going to remember whatever you wrote in the application. They're going to forget that, and they're just going to view you as a person, as an individual person they do not know. So they would evaluate you in the interview on the basis of who you are in the interview. They're going to forget whatever you wrote in the application. So even if you submitted the best essay, even if you submitted the best application and everything worked fine in the application, but you messed up somewhat in the interview, you did not sound confident, maybe they were apprehensive of whether they should select you as a candidate because you did not answer the questions quite creatively, then chances are that you may be rejected. So I'm not into the evaluation thing. I'm not an evaluator, so I do not know how they are going to evaluate you. They will definitely consider both the scores you get in the online screening round as well as the interview. But while they're interviewing you, their psychology is that they do not know you. They're going to evaluate you and give you a score for the interview on the basis of who you are in that interview. So interview is equally important as the online document screening round. You have to present yourself as if you're presenting for the first time, as if the evaluators do not know you while you're giving the interview.
No.
These were all the mistakes that might land you rejected in the GKS application process. So make sure to avoid these and follow the tips which I've talked about in the video. Also, please ask your questions in the comment section because I reply to almost all the comments, and I'll surely try to help you in any questions, in any queries, or in any way I can in the comments. So please do comment, and please increase the engagement for this video so that it reaches more people and I get more engagement. Thank you so much. Meet you the next time.